Are there further amendments? Senator Murphy.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I voted no on the underlying budget that we're debating here today, and it's not because I don't appreciate the tremendous work that the chair and the ranking member of the subcommittee and the full committee have done. I understand there's a lot of really important, hard-fought compromise in this piece of legislation. My worry is simply that the president is going to ignore the will of Congress that's expressed in this legislation. And I think that that's an incredibly relevant and present conversation for this Congress to have and for this committee to have. It happens in a number of ways. Obviously, we saw it through the extraordinary use of rescissions. I appreciate, Madam Chairman, your comments earlier today about the potential for a second rescissions package that would, maybe even ignore or work around the ability of Congress to debate and vote on that. And I hope that you are persuasive in that measure. There's also the extraordinary shifting of funds that happens inside these budgets. And the budget that Senator Britt and I wrote last Congress for the Homeland Security Department, the administration just took $600 million that was dedicated for non-detention and just declared that it would now be eligible for detention. We've never seen that at that kind of scale before. And then there's this problem of the money that we are appropriating being used for purposes that are totally disconnected from the statutes, from the authorizing statutes. And that's the amendment that I'm going to put before the committee today and ask for a roll call vote. The Department of Education has the ability through the Office of Civil Rights to, through a process laid out in statute and in regulation, bring enforcement actions against universities that they don't believe are complying with the statute. But as we have all watched, this administration is cutting off funding for universities, allegedly using the civil rights statute without going through any of the prescribed processes that we have put in law and previous administrations have put into regulation. Most extraordinary is this April 11th letter that was sent to Harvard University telling them that they would lose all federal funding if they didn't comply with a very specific set of demands. One of them is a demand entitled viewpoint diversity. And what they're essentially saying here is that unless this particular university rearranges its hiring so that they hire professors that have a viewpoint diversity approved by the Department of Education, they will lose federal funding. There is nowhere in statute that allows for the administration to withhold federal funding based upon an objection to the viewpoints that faculty hold. On the merits, there's no justification for the withholding of funding based upon that complaint. But even worse, the administration went through no process that is laid out in law and in regulation to give the administration and to give the public the ability to contest and provide input. So I think this is a really relevant matter for this committee. I think the extraordinary ways this administration is ignoring the law or going around the law requires us to do due diligence in making sure that when we appropriate money, it gets used for the proper purposes. And so this amendment that I have before the body just says that the administration cannot use the money appropriated for the Office of Civil Rights until their Inspector General comes to a simple conclusion that when they are carrying out enforcement actions against universities like Harvard, that they just simply go through the processes and procedures laid out in statute. We can debate the merits, but at the very least, we should be requiring the administration to not go around the processes that we have set out. If they went through those processes, it would be a lot easier for us, for the university, for the public to litigate whether or not this administration has any right in order to withhold funding just because they think there are too many liberal professors on campus. And I will just say, if this does become normalized, if the President of the United States gets to deny funds to universities because they don't like particular political viewpoints of the student body or of the faculty, that is a Pandora's box that is hard to ever again close. And no Republican on this committee would want a Democratic president cutting off funds to their state universities just because they think that there are too many conservative voices on campus. So I appreciate you letting me explain this amendment, and I would ask for a roll call vote.
Senator Capito.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Murphy, for your amendment, which I strongly oppose for a lot of different reasons. But let's just go back and see what was happening on our campuses, particularly in the Northeast, in terms of anti-Semitism. Rampant, I think, violation of civil rights of many students on those campuses, and some of those higher education institutions have come to the table with the administration and said, yes, we're going to make changes, and that's because of the violations of the office of what is under the Office of Civil Rights under Title VI. When the former president's Secretary of Education came before this committee, I pointedly asked him, do you have a staff member? Have you been? This is right in the heat of it all, to Columbia University. No, we didn't send anybody there. What kind of enforcement is that when your families and Jewish students don't even feel safe on their own campus? So your amendment would halt the work of the Office of Civil, and you say a simple statement, but your amendment basically says you would do a review of all actions towards institutions of higher education that have taken place this year. The inaction that was taken in the previous administration actually troubles me a lot. And the inaction at the highest levels of higher education to let this happen, I never thought I'd see anything like this again. When my dad went across the ocean in World War II to save a nation, a world from anti-Semitism. So I think to try to halt the Office of Civil Rights, to me, at this point in time where we find ourselves, even if you say it's just for a short period of time, what in government ever takes a short period of time? I mean, that doesn't exist here. So I would say it's contrary to the purpose of the office to pause investigations, and I would oppose your amendment.
Madam Chair?
Senator Ossoff.
I'm not sure if I'm the only Jewish member of the committee, but I just want to say for the record that I utterly reject this administration's cynical exploitation of this issue, which it uses as a fig leaf to take control of and impose its will on institutions of higher education and other critics. Thank you.
Are there other members who wish to comment on the amendment?
Madam President.
Senator Murray.
I just want to support the senator's amendment. It just simply requires that the OIG certify that all enforcement actions taken against colleges are in compliance with those laws. It's pretty simple, and I urge our members to vote for it.
With that, seeing no further members seeking to speak, the clerk will call the roll.
Senator McConnell.
No by proxy.
Senator Murkowski. No. Senator Graham.
No by proxy.
Senator Moran.
No by proxy.
Senator Hoven.
No by proxy.
Senator Bozeman.
No by proxy.
Senator Capito. Senator Kennedy.
No by proxy.
Senator Hyde-Smith. Senator Haggerty.
No by proxy.
Senator Britt.
No by proxy.
Senator Mullen.
No by proxy.
Senator Fisher.
No by proxy.
Senator Rounds.
No by proxy.
Senator Murray.
Aye.
Senator Durbin.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Reed. Aye. Senator Shaheen.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Merkley.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Coons.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Schatz.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Baldwin.
Aye.
Senator Murphy. Aye. Senator Van Hollen.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Heinrich.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Peters.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Gillibrand.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Ossoff. Chair Collins.
No. On this vote, there were 14 ayes and 15 nays. The amendment is not agreed to.